Good morning, dear students. My name is Ferhan Mazher, and today is the 15th of September 2021. And right now, I am with the 9 Cambridge class, and the subject we are studying is D Maths 4024. And we are working on the D3, the book D3. We have done almost a chapter number 1, and now we are working on the chapter number 6. The name of the chapter is Coordinate Geometry. We have already done 2 exercises, 6A, 6B. Today we are going to start exercise 6C. Today's main aim is to learn how to find the equation of a line. Today we will learn that different kinds of lines and their equations and their most possible equations, and we will also learn how to actually find the equation of a line. In your previous classes, you must have seen that you have learned how to find the equation, how to find a graph of a given equation. In your previous classes, what was happening, that they gave you equation and you made a table, you suppose some values of x, you calculated the values of y using that equation, and then you plotted those points on the grid. Today we are going to learn the opposite of that. Now we will have the graph, we will already know the points on the graph, and we will find equation of that line using those coordinates, those points which are on that line. So whatever you have learned in drawing the straight line graphs in your previous class, today we are going to learn a new thing exactly opposite of that. We will have the graphs, and from there we will find the equation. Okay, so before you go into this, let me show you this. The basic lines, the lines can be of, for example, the lines can be horizontal. So if you find anywhere horizontal lines, the equation of the horizontal lines is always very simple. You don't have to do any process. If the lines on the graph are horizontal, you can see on the screen, you can see that I have shown a grid, and on that grid with the black dots, I have shown 3 lines: line number 1, line number 2, line number 3. And each line is horizontal, it's parallel to the x-axis. If your lines are parallel to the the x-axis, or they are horizontal, their equation will be y equals to constant. And what that constant, or in other words, you can say y will be equals to a number. And what that number or what that constant is, you can see that the graph
Sir, I can't hear you.
So, for example, line number 2, you can see that it cuts the y-axis at 1. Its y-intercept is 1. Y-intercept means your graph, when it cuts the y-axis, what's the value of the y there. So the line number 2, the value y will be, the y-intercept is 1. So the equation of that line number 2 will be y equals to constant, y equals to 1. In the same number 3, this line, this dotted line, line number 3, you will find that its y-intercept is minus 2. Its y-intercept is minus 2. So its equation constant is equals to the y-intercept of that line. So the equation will be y equals to minus 2. So anywhere if you find a line which is horizontal, or you can say it is parallel to the x-axis, the equation will be simple. The equation will be y equals to constant. Okay. So if the equation is y equals to constant, the constant will be equals to the y-intercept of that line. Okay. Do you understand this thing? From this example, do you understand how you will find the equation of the lines which are horizontal?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So we are going to the next question, next slide. Okay. Now we are talking about the vertical lines. The vertical lines are those lines which are parallel to the y-axis, and from up they go down, or from down they go up. These are called the vertical lines, and you can see that their equations are always x equals to constant. For so that for your convenience, I have drawn there three lines. Line number one, you can see it's a dotted line, it's a vertical line, it's parallel to the y-axis. Its equation should be x equals to constant. So the question is, what is that constant, or what is that number? That number is equals to the x intercept of that line. And what's x intercept? X and intercept mean that when you draw that line on the graph paper, the the point when it cuts the y-axis, when it cuts the x-axis, at that point, whatever is the value of the x, that is known as the x-intercept of that line. For example, if you look at the line number one, its x-intercept will be -2. So its equation will be x equals to -2. If you look at the line number two, its x-intercept is 1. When it cuts the x-axis, you look carefully. What's the value of the x at that point? So here, because the x-intercept is 1 for line number 2, so its equation will be x equals to constant, and that constant will be 1. So the equation will be x equals to 1. In the same way, if you look at the line number 3, its x-intercept is 4. Its x-intercept is 4. So because it's a vertical line, because it's parallel to the y-axis, its equation is x equals to constant, and constant here is the x-intercept. So the line number 3, the x-intercept value is 4. So the equation will be x equals to constant, and so the x equals to 4. So this is how you will find the equations of the vertical lines. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Okay. So now let's move to the next slide. Okay. Now we learned about the horizontal lines, we learned about the vertical lines. Now we talk about the inclined lines. So inclined lines can be of two types. One inclined lines will be like this, which I have given here three examples. Um, if you know the gradient of a line, and if you know the y-intercept of the line, if you know the gradient of a line and you know the y-intercept of an inclined line. So what's the meaning of the gradient? You already have learned the gradient is the rise divided by run, or it is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. If you know the gradient, you should know two things: gradient and y-intercept. Gradient, you already know, we have practiced a full exercise on it. And y-intercept means when that line cuts the y-axis, what's the value of the y there? For, for example, if you look at the line number 1, and I have already given this information, that its gradient is 1 and its y-intercept is 2. Okay. So if you know the gradient and you know the y-intercept, then the equation of the line can be found by this formula. Is showing up on your screen. Y is equals to mx plus c. Y equals to mx plus c. So if the y is alone on one side and on the other side, the coefficient of x is m. That will be the slope, the gradient, and a constant number with it. That will be, then you have plus c. This plus c is equals to the y-intercept. So if you want to find the equation of this, for example, this line number 1, I want to find out its equation, and this information is already given to me. Or I can find out this by looking at the graph. Its slope is 1, m is 1, the gradient is 1, and its y-intercept is 2. You can see here the y-intercept is 2 for line number 1. So simple, you write y is equals to mx plus c, and the value of the m and c you will substitute in this formula. So y will be equals to, in the place of m, I will put 1, and in the place of c, I will put 2. So y equals to 1x plus 2. This is how you will find the equation of the line number 1 if you know the gradient and the y-intercept. Same way, look at here, the example number, then we have the line number 2. In the line number 2, you can see this is that line, and it is given to me that its gradient is, its gradient is 1 by 2, and its y-intercept, you can see when it cuts the y-axis, the value of the y there is 0. So the c value is 0. So they want me to find out the equation of the line number 2. So the process is very simple. You write y equals to mx plus c, where m is the gradient and c is the y-intercept. So what I will do, y equals to, I will substitute the value of the m and c. The value of the m is 1 by 2. So we will have 1 by 2 into x, plus the value of the c is 0. So I will write here 0. So plus 0 means nothing. So y is equals to 1 by 2x. So that is the equation of the line number 2. In the same way, we can check for the line number 3. You can see the line number 3 is shown here. I already know that its gradient is 1 and its y-intercept, you can see here, is minus 3. So if you want to find out the equation of this line, the procedure is very simple. You will write that standard equation, y equals to mx plus c, and you substitute the value of the m and the c. M is the gradient, c is the y-intercept, m here is 1, c here is minus 3. So you will get y equals to x minus 3. So this is how you will find the equation of inclined lines whose gradient is positive, and you know their y-intercept. If you know the gradient, the y-intercept, very easily you can apply this formula, y equals to mx plus c, and you can find their equation. Do you understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Now, uh, here are other inclined lines. Another example, other two examples on the inclined lines. But one very important thing about these lines is that their gradient will be negative, because when you go to the right side, you can see these lines are going down. As you move further and further towards the right side, you will observe that these lines are going downward. So if the lines are going downward, it means their gradient is negative when you move to the right. Okay. So here we go. So I know the gradient. I know the gradient of these lines already, and I know the y-intercept. For example, the line number 1, this line. So its y-intercept is 2. So it means the c value is 2, and the gradient is minus 2. So very easily I can find out the equation. I will write y equals to mx plus c, and then I will substitute the value of the m and the c. The value of the m is minus 2, the value of the c is 2. Just substitute these values in that formula, which is y equal mx plus c. And you will get the equation y equals to minus 2x plus 2. So this is the equation for this line. Now we have another line, line number 2. Its gradient I already know is minus 1, and its y-intercept is here. So its value is 0. So m is minus 1, c is equal to 0. We want to find out the equation of this line. So I will apply the formula y equals to mx plus c. So y equals to, substitute the value of the m and the c. So you will have minus 1x plus 0. So the final equation will be y equals to minus x. So this is how you will find the equations of the inclined lines. So let's move to the next slide. Okay. So here we have that exercise 6c. And it's question number 1 and question number 2 is showing up on your screen. He has given us an equation. In the question, if you look at the question in your book, you will find that they have given you an equation of a line, and equation is y equals to minus x plus c. And they say that this line passes through this point and the coordinates of the points are 1 comma 2. Remember, if a point is on that line or a line passes through that point, the coordinates of that point will satisfy this equation. Satisfy this equation mean that if I put the x coordinate and the y coordinate values in that equation, both the sides will be equal to each other. For example, if this line, whatever this line is passing through this point, or in other words, you can say this point is on this line. So these two values of this is x, this is y, they will satisfy this equation. So in this equation, substitute x with 1 and y with 2. So I put these two values in this equation. So you can see you will have 2 equals to minus 1 plus c. This minus 1 goes to the other side, it will add. So you will have c equals to 3. So this is how you found the value of the c here. And the c is obviously, what is the c here? This is y-intercept. So this was question number 1. The question number 2 is on the same lines. He says that we have a line whose equation is y equals to 4x plus k, and it is passing through the point minus 3 comma 3. So if this point is on that line or that line is passing through this point, in both the cases, both the statement means the same thing. These x and y values will satisfy that equation. So what I will do mathematically, this is x, which is minus 3. This is the value of the y, that is 3. I will substitute the x and y value here in this equation. So in the place of y, I substituted 3, and in the place of x, I substituted minus 3. So you will have 3 equals to 4 bracket minus 3 bracket close plus k. So you will have 3 equals to minus 12 plus k. So 3 plus 12 equals to k. This minus 12 go on the other side. It will become positive 12. So you have 15 equals to k. So the k value is 15. A very simple question. An equation of a line was given and a point was given, and they have informed us that the point is on that line. So there was a unknown number in that equation, and we were supposed to find that. The process was very simple. We just substituted the x and y value of that point, the coordinates of that point, into the equation. And this is how we found the value of the c and found the value of the k in that question. What do you say? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So we are moving to the next point. Okay. So this is another new thing. If you want to find the equation of a line, and sorry, read. If you want to find the equation of a line and the 2 points are given on that line. If you are given 2 points, A and B, their coordinates are given, and they ask you to find the equation of the line joining A and B. For example, here on your screen, you can see that I have shown 2 points. One point A, its coordinates are x1 comma y1, and B, its coordinates are x2 and y2. And they want you to find out the equation of the line which is joining A and B. In other words, equation of the AB. And what you will do, there are 2 steps involved in this process. First of all, we will find out what's the gradient. The formula for that's the first step. There are this process involves 2 steps. So in the first step, you will find out what's the gradient of that line. So gradient is represented with the m, and the formula for the m will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Step number two, which is new for you, we will find the equation by using this standard formula. That is y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. Y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1 bracket close. So in this, you have to substitute the value of the m, value of the x1 and y1. Very simple. And equation will be automatically formed. Let me show you how I do this. Okay. So on your screen, question number 3, A part is showing up here. The 2 points are given. The A point is 0, comma 0, and the B point is 1, comma minus 1. We want to find out the equation of the AB line. For your convenience and for your understanding, I have drawn the grid here and I have located those A and B point on that grid. And you can see that I have joined the point with the black line on your screen. You can see that. Now I want to find out the equation of this black line, AB line, this graph. I want to find out its equation. So the procedure is simple. The first step is you will find the gradient. The first step is you will find the gradient, m. So the formula is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So we will have minus 1 minus 0 divided by 1 minus 0. Substituted the values of x1, y1, x2, y2. Okay. And you can see there will be minus 1. Of this is minus. I will find the equation of the line AB. The standard formula is y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. Here simply put the value of the m, that is minus 1. I will put it here. The y1 value, you can see this first point, 0. x1 value, that is also 0. This x and this y, you are not supposed to touch them. So y minus 0 equals to the slope value m is minus 1 bracket x minus 0. This minus 1 will multiply with this bracket. So you will have y equals to minus x. So this is the equation of the line joining A and B. So that is the procedure how you find the equation of a line if the 2 points on that line are given, their coordinates are given. The first step is find the slope, the gradient, and the second step is finding the equation. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are going to do the question number 3. It's B part. There are 2 points which are C point 1, comma 3 and a D point which is 2, comma 5. And they want us to find out the equation of the line joining the C and D. For your understanding, I have drawn a grid and I have plotted these points on that grid, and then I have joined them and shown the line which will be formed them by joining them. So if you want to find out the equation of these two, this line, the 2 points are given. The first step is find the gradient of this line. The gradient of this line is m equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So substitute those values. The y2 is 5 minus, then the y1 value is 3 divided by x2 value is 2 and the x1 value is 1. 5 minus 3 is 2, 2 minus 1 is 1, so 2 divided by 1 is 2. So the gradient of this line is how much? The gradient of this line is 2. Now if you want to find out the equation of this line, then the second step of that process is you write y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. So I will substitute the value of the m in this formula. The m is 2. The x1 is how much? 1. And what is the value of the y1? That is 3. The coordinate of this first point. You can also put the coordinate of that second point. There will be no problem. So I'm using the first point. Okay. So I substituted the x1, y1 and m with their values. So now you have y minus 3 equals to 2 bracket x minus 1. Y minus 3 equals to that 2 will multiply that with that bracket. So you will have 2x minus 2. So take this minus 3 to the other side. So y equals to 2x minus 2 plus 3. So y equals to 2x plus 1. So that is the equation of that line. That is the equation of that line. And remember one thing, an extra thing which I can tell you, y is alone equals to 2x plus 1. This 2, when the y is do you understand? Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So let's move to the next part. Question number 3 and its C part. Here we have the 2 points are given. The point E, which is 2 comma 4, the point F, which is minus 2 comma 3. The gradient, they want us to find out the equation of the line which is joining E and F. Okay. So for your convenience and for your understanding, I have drawn these 2 points on the and I have joined them. And you can see I want to now find out the equation of this line. Okay. So if I know the 2 points, first step will be I will find the gradient of the line joining these points. The gradient formula y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Simply put those values. You will have 3 minus 4 divided by minus 2 minus 2. 3 minus 4 is minus 1. Minus 2 minus 2 is minus 4. Minus minus cancel. So the answer is 1 by 4. So the m value or the gradient is 1 by 4. Now I want to find out the equation of this line. The equation of this line will be y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. Y minus y1 is 4 and the x1 value is 2 and the m value is 1 by 4. So I substituted the value of the m, the value of the x1, the value of the y1 in this formula. You can see this is a single term. This 4 is dividing here, bring this 4 to this side. So you will have 4y minus 16 equals to this 1 will multiply this bracket x minus 2. Now you will have 4y equals to x minus 2. You take this minus 16 to the other side. It will become plus 16. So you will have 4y equals to x plus 14. This is the standard equation. It's all right. There's no problem with it. You can leave it here or you can make this y alone. So if you want to make the y alone, you can take this 4 to the other side. This 4 when go on the other side, it will be in the denominator under both these numbers. So you will have y equals to x by 4 plus 14 by 4. So this is 1 by 4x plus this 14 by 4 is 3.5. So this is the standard equation. Okay. Now, if you look at this carefully, remember this, if the y is alone and then equals to the x and constant, the coefficient of the x is the gradient of that line. And this is the y-intercept. Okay. This was the question number 3C part. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay. So we are moving to the next part. That's question number 3 and it's D part. The 2 points are given. 1 point is G, whose coordinates are minus 6 comma minus 5, and H point whose coordinates are 4 comma 4. They want us to find out the equation of the line which is joining G and H. For your convenience and for your understanding, we have drawn a grid here and we have plotted those points on them and we have joined them with a straight line. But we have drawn that everything with the free hand. Okay, so GH line, I want to find out its equation. The 2 points on this line are given. So the process is very simple. The first step is you will find the gradient. The formula for the gradient is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. I will substitute the values of the y2, y1, x2 and x1. So we will have 4 minus minus 5 and in the denominator we will have 4 minus minus 6. So you will have 4 plus 5. In the denominator, you will have 4 plus 6. And that will give you 9 by 10. So the gradient of this line is 9 by 10. Now, if you want to find out the equation of this line, the procedure is very simple. You will write y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. So y, you put the value of the x1, y1, and the m value in this formula. So you can see the m value here is 9 by 10. Here is 9 by 10. The x1 is minus 6 and the y1 is minus 5. So here we have y minus 5, that will become y plus 5. The m value is 9 by 10, then a bracket x, and this minus 6, that will become plus 6. So take this 10 to the other side. So it's dividing here. When it come on this side, it will multiply. So we will have 10y plus 50 equals to this 9 will multiply with this bracket. You will have 9x plus 54. So 10y, take this 50 to the other side. You will have 10y equals to 9x plus 54 minus 50. So 10y equals to 9x plus 4. If you leave it in this place, it's all right. At this stage, if you leave it, the equation is perfect, there's no problem. Or you can go further, you can make the y alone. This 10 is multiplying with the y, you can take it to the other side. When it will go to the other side, it will go under both the terms on the right side. So you will have y equals to 9 by 10 x plus 4 by 10. So you will have y equals to 9 by 10 multiply x plus 2 by 5. So remember, this is that standard form when the y is alone on the left side and equals to then an x and then a constant. So this, the coefficient of x is the gradient of this line, 9 by 10. And this number tells you the y-intercept. So this is how you will do the question number 3D part. Do you understand? They are exactly the same.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now same question. It's E part, but this time I have not shown it on the grid. It's not necessary to draw the grid and show the point on the grid. But for our own understanding, we always draw a grid and we plot them on a grid so that the question becomes easy for us and we are able to visualize that what we are doing. But here now in this part, you can see I have not drawn the grid. I point is given minus 2 comma minus 4 and a j point is given which is 1 comma minus 7. So they want me to find out the equation of the line which is joining I and j. So I will first of all find the m, that will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, and then the m value will be equals to the value minus 7 minus 4, 1 minus 2. So you will have minus 7 plus 4, 1 plus 2, you will have minus 3 by 3. So the m value will be minus 1. So the gradient of this line will be minus 1. Then when you want to, if you want to find the equation of this line, you will write the formula y minus y1 equal to m bracket x minus x1. So substitute this first point. You can also substitute the second point. There will be no problem. So but I am using the first point. Okay. So y minus y1 is minus 4, m is minus 1, and x1 is minus 2. So you will have y plus 4 equals to minus bracket. This will become plus 2. Okay. So you will have y plus 4 equals to this minus will change the signs, minus x minus 2. So y, this 4 will go on the other side. Y will be equals to minus x minus 2 minus 6. So y will be equals to minus x minus 6. So that is the equation of that line. The gradient, the y alone on the left side and equals to x term and then a constant. This is the standard form. So whenever the equation is in the standard form, the coefficient of the x, here the coefficient of the x is minus 1, is equals to the gradient. And this constant number here, that represents the y-intercept. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we are going to the next question. So on your screen, question number 3, F part is showing. Here I have not drawn the grid because drawing the grid is not necessary. It's just for our own understanding. two points are given, the point K, which is minus 7 comma minus 5, and L point, which is minus 1 comma minus 1. And we want to find out the coin of the line which is joining the K and the L, or you can say I want to find out the coin of the line KL. So M value, first step is I will find the M, the gradient. So formula for the gradient is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So minus 1 minus minus 5 minus divided by minus 1 minus minus 7. So we will have minus 1 plus 5 divided by minus 1 plus 7. So you will have 4 divided by 6, which will be 2 by 3. So the gradient of this line is 2 by 3. Now I will find out the equation of the line joining the K and L. The formula is very simple. Y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. So we will have y minus minus 5 equals to the m value is 2 by 3 bracket x minus minus 7 bracket close. This 3 will go to the other side. This 3 is dividing here, take it to the other side. It will multiply. You will have 3y plus 15. This 2 will multiply this with bracket. You will have 2x plus 14. So bring this plus 15 to this side. You will have 3y equals to 2x plus 14 minus 15. You will have 3y equals to 2x minus 1. Bring this 3 to the other side. It will be denominator in both of them. So you will have y equals to 2 by 3 multiply x minus 1 by 3. Remember, this is the equation of that line in the standard form. So y is alone on the left side. So the coefficient of the x here, that is equals to the gradient. And this constant here, minus 1 by 3, that shows the y-intercept. Do you understand this question?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Question number 3, G part here, the 2 points, M, which is 8 comma 0, and N point, which is minus 9 comma 0. So first of all, they want us to find out the equation of this line. So equation of this line will be y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So it will be 0 minus 0 divided by minus 9 minus 8. So it will be 0 divided by minus 17. 0 divided by anything, the answer will be 0. So the gradient of this line will be 0. Basically, this is a horizontal line because its slope is 0. So if you want to find out this equation, apply the formula y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. Y1 is 0 and m is 0 and x1 is also 0. So you see this is y equal, this whole thing becomes 0, y equals to 0. So the equation of this line is y equals to 0. Y equals to 0. This is basically x-axis. You understand this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and this is the last part for today's lesson. Question number 3, H part. He says we have a point point O whose coordinates are 0 comma 0, and a point P whose coordinates are 0 comma 7, and we want to find out the coin of this line. So first of all, I will find the slope or the gradient of this line, that is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So substitute the values of the y2, y1, x2 and x1. You will have 7 minus 0 divided by 0 minus 0. So you will have 7 divided by 0. Remember this thing. This concept is very important. 7 divided by 0. If in the denominator you have 0, like here, 7 divided by 0, if you do it on the calculator will say syntax error, not defined, not possible. Anything divided by 0, the answer is infinite. This symbol here, this is the symbol for infinite. So its answer is not possible. It's infinite, not defined. So if you want to find out the coin of this line, y minus y1 equals to m bracket x minus x1. So y minus the y1 is 0 equals to 7 by 0 into x minus 0. This 0 goes to this side, multiplies, the slope is 7 by 0. this whole thing becomes 0. So you will have 7x equals 0. This 7 will go on the other side, divide with the 7. 0 divided by 7 will be 0. So you see, this line, its equation will be x equals to 0. Okay. So this is basically, it's a vertical line. Okay. X equals to 0 is the equation of the y-axis. You might have been wondering that these questions are exactly same and why we are doing all these questions. You see, if you want to master a concept, if you want to be the lord of that concept, you need to repeat it again and again. You need to practice that concept, and you might have observed that the basic concept is same. You have to find the gradient and you have to find the equation. 2 steps. But every question has a little bit new trick in it. It's calculation which you do. The starting thing is same, but then the next steps, they are different from each other. For example, this question is different from the rest of the. That's why we do all the questions. So that's it. I think today we have started exercise 6C, and we have done its question number 1, 2, and 3. And intentionally, I have slowed it down. I don't want it to complete today because you do these questions today at your home, and tomorrow we will, or on Friday we will do the rest of the questions, because this concept should take at least 2-3 days. It should be given at least 2-3 days so that the student can practice at home. So I hope that you have understood today's work. What do you say? Do you understand today's concept?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So everybody, thank you very much. It was pleasure teaching you all. So thank you very much and have a good day. God bless you all.